When I think about the way we used to be, when I think about the things you took from me, I know that I am so much better, better. When I look at what I've done, now that we're apart, when I look at what I've won, I've come so far. I know I'm so much better off, and baby, you don't belong. I could feel it in my bones. There was something going on, that shade of doubt hanging around that old. 'Cause darling, there is nothing right when all you seem to do is lie. Those days are gone. I'm walking tall while you're alone. When I think about the way we used to be, when I think about the things you took from me, I know that I am so much better, better. When I look at what I've done, now that we're apart, when I look at what I've won, I've come so far. I know I'm so much better off, and baby, you don't belong. Your love was cold, heart made of stone, but I'm just fine. I'm gonna shine. I'm alright, alright, alright. I'm celebrating my liberation. I'm moving strong. I'm moving on. I'm alright, alright.
Hello everybody. Hi. So good to see everybody here this afternoon here. My name, hold on. Let me just unmute myself. Hello everybody. Hi. Sorry I muted myself just now. A very good afternoon to everybody. My name is Kim Pong, and I am the CEO and founder of Strength Asia. And it's just so wonderful to be able to see everybody here on this platform here. COVID may be here, but it cannot keep us apart from each other here. So I just want to say thank you very much for turning up here. And I just want to thank my wife, actually, right, for paying for all the Wi-Fi bills here. Otherwise, I don't think I've got internet. So good. Today, welcome again to, the second of 4-part series here, organized by my company called Strength Asia. And Strength Asia essentially is an organization that works with companies all around Asia, helping them to create a culture of engagement. And by that we mean, how do we get people, how do we get leaders, managers and executives, teachers and students, right, to become a bigger, better version of who they already are, to become more satisfied, more energized in what they do, and to become more influential and more impactful in what they are doing here. And today is the second, like I said, second of 4-part series on how do we work smart during COVID-19 days. And last week we talked a little bit about what do employees need in order to thrive during COVID-19, and we say, look, for us, let us help them build trust, show compassion, create stability, and inspire hope here. So if you want to find out a little bit more about what we spoke about the last time, go ahead to our Strength Asia Facebook page. There is, I believe, a video over there, and just go ahead and download the video and watch that first session that we did. Today we are here for same thing. How do we thrive? How do we work smart during COVID-19? And the topic really is how do we stay purposeful? How do we stay purpose-driven, sane, and well working from home here? Once again, my name is Kim Pong, and welcome everybody to this Zoom live showcase. And incidentally, while we are Zooming, this program is also live streaming onto our Facebook Live here. So for those of your friends who have not registered for the Zoom and they want to be a part of this, go ahead and WhatsApp them right now, right, and say, hey, look, go to Facebook Strength Asia page. They can actually watch what's going on right now on Facebook Live. All right, cool. As I'm looking at everybody on the screen here, I think probably, I don't even know how many people do we have. We probably have about maybe 70, 80 people right now. So go ahead, if you have attended, the talk the first time, can I ask you to use the icons on Zoom or use the comments on on Facebook? And go ahead and say, I was here the last time, or just, use the icons and give us a thumbs up here, right? So we kind of know, hey, are you revisiting us, or are you, visiting us for the first time here? So go ahead and do that. Fantastic. So I'm seeing a number of people all thumbings up. Wonderful. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for coming back. So I'm just glad that you did come back. Thank you so much. Very cool. Great. All right. So now, one of the things I'm gonna start off is to ask everybody here, right? Go ahead and use the chat box. Go ahead and use the comments page on Facebook Live, and just let us know, what are the questions, what are the insights here. I'm going to take time in between now to about 3:30, 3:35, right? And read your question, read your comments, and interact with you. I mean, this is not just about me talking here, but it's about us interacting here together. So I'm going to ask the first question of the day here, right? I'm going to ask the question, how is everybody enjoying working from home, right? How is everybody enjoying working from home? And so to do that, unfortunately, I can't do this for my Facebook friends here, but for my Zoom friends here, I'm going to give you a poll, right? So I'm going to put up a poll right now. Oh, goodness, where's my poll? It's missing. Oh my gosh, my poll is missing. Disaster. Oh my gosh, I know why it's missing already. Never mind. So the question here is this, right? How are you enjoying working from home today? So go ahead, instead of using the polling, for some strange reason, my poll just disappeared from my channel here. Go ahead and use the chat box, right? Tell us, are you enjoying it? Are you dying to go back to the office? Or are you surprised that you are actually doing so well working from home and you actually don't mind, working from home forever, right? So go ahead and use the chat box, everybody. And Facebook friends, go ahead and use the comments page and tell us what you think, right? How are you enjoying working from home? Thank you very much. All right, I got the first thing coming in from Dr. Sherman Ong. He says, business as usual for me, right? Very cool. Jenny says, kind of working like from home, but miss my staff and colleagues. Still prefer to go to work in the office. Yeah, perfectly understand. Seesawing between liking and liking or staying or going back. Carolyn Hui say, coping, but cannot wait to go back to the office here. Very cool. Godwin says, he prefers the office. Well, cool. Keep it coming. Mandy says, what did Mandy say? I just missed Mandy's here. Well, getting used to it, enjoying the time with the kids and the family. That's exactly the same for me here. I mean, one of the really amazing things for me is realizing that I'm seeing my children, I'm seeing my wife every day for dinner, for lunch, for breakfast. I think that's probably the greatest, blessing and advantage here. Let me see. Still prefer to work in office by Karen. Half, saves travel time, but tends to work more due to no natural breaks to chit chat with colleagues here. Cool. Thank you for sending in your comments and your quotes here. Hold on, let me just share some of the Facebook quotes here that came in. Let's see if I can do this here. If I click here, I think it should. Yep. So I think you see something on Facebook here. Ooh, did you guys see it? Yep, you did. Yep. So Jenny says, no better to be in the office for her, right? That's just from Facebook here. Wonderful. All right, cool. So let's get back. One of the things, working from home used to be a privilege. I think not many of us actually has ever worked from home before, but because of COVID-19, every one of us in Singapore at least is working from home here. And I think a large part of the world is also doing that. So working from home used to be seen as a privilege, but no longer. Today, it is really seen as a necessity. I kind of think that even after the circuit breaker, this working from home phenomena is not going to be an extraordinary phenomena, but it's going to be something that is going to be pretty enduring, after COVID-19 here. So in other words, it has no longer been a privilege. It is now a necessity. And therefore, I think, we have to learn, how to be really, really good, working from home here. And I guess that's the reason why we are here today. To learn a little bit more about how can we be more productive, how can we be well, how can we stay sane, right? Working from home here. One of the things I realized about working from home, for those of us that's never done it before, is that you probably find it to be extremely stressful, probably in the first couple of weeks, right? And for some of us, I think the stress is still there. And how do you know that you are actually, being stressed up and you are actually struggling with the stress? Well, according to Forbes magazine, right, they came up with three simple warning signs. There are three warning signs that you and I can look out for, to assess, if we are super stressed out by this whole working from home situation here. So there are three warning signs here. So the first warning sign essentially is this, right? It's about, decreased resilience here. Resilience is about facing up to adversity. It's about responding to problems, to difficult conversations. It's about, reacting to change and all that, right? Now, if you find that any of those things is beginning to suck the life out of you or beginning to drain you, your resilience is getting diminished here, right? It's being decreased here. So if that's what you're going through, it's a warning sign that you're getting stressed out working from home here. Now, a second warning sign here is making mistakes. Now, you're making a lot of mistakes, or you're missing deadlines, or you're getting super unfocused, right? That you ordinarily would not be. For some strange reason, working from home, you're just not sure, what you're doing. You're missing the deadlines. You could not concentrate properly, right? So if all those situations are happening in your life, working from home today, well, maybe you're trying to cope with the stress of WFH here. The third is about becoming really, really negative here. Stress does bring the worst out of us, and yet we need the very best of us to face up to these really worst situations here, right? But in a warning sign is about being negative. So you'll notice, especially in your language, you begin to use words like, people never really care about me. We are never being cooperative with one another. We never listen. We don't do this. We don't do that. When actually the reality of it is that we do, right? But I think because of the stress, it brings about that extreme negativity in your perspective here. So if you feel, if you catch yourself, being super negative, maybe it's not because you are negative yourself, but maybe because it's you responding, to that stress, WFH, in your situation here. So stress is nothing new to us, because every one of us, we all live in a VUCA society, in a VUCA world. The world today is not a simple world. It is volatile, it is uncertain, it is complex, and it is ambiguous, isn't it? I guess with COVID-19, it basically just accentuate, amplify, and magnify this VUCA-ness, right, in our system, in our society, in our nations, in the world in total. And the thing about all of us, being leaders, managers, executives, being employees, being workers, right? The ability to change in a VUCA world is actually a required behavior. And change, in responding to change, is not really a new normal, right? I mean, even before pre-COVID days, change is never a new normal. But change is a normal behavior that is required of you and I to create growth in our life, to create transformation in our life, and to really obtain profitable outcomes, isn't it? So I think change is really fundamental to everything that we are doing today. So the idea here is this, right? With change, how do you respond to it? So there are three kinds of, I guess there are three, well, maybe there are more than three, but I can think of just three broad categories of people in the way they respond to change, right? So the question here is, are you a jumper, or are you a stayer, or are you a holder of change, right? So let me explain what this means. Jumper, right? When change happens in your life, whether is it positive or negative, you're probably one of the first few people in your organization, in your family, or in your teams, right? Where you immediately jump in and begin to understand the situation and begin, to respond to the change, create new initiatives, create new projects, new ways of doing things with old stuff, right? You are beginning to engage the change very actively and with a lot of inertia and immediacy here. That's a jumper. The stayer are those guys that says, oh, no, I'm going to stay around the ring and watch from the outside first. I'm going to assess the situation, and then I'm going to dip my toes into the water and test the water before I come in and do something about it, right? And the third one, these are the people that basically, no, I'm going to hold my ground here because this thing is going to blow over, right? They're going to blow over. And by the time it's gone, I can go back to my old ways here again, right? Nothing wrong with that. So there's no there's no right or wrong answers to all that, but I'm just super curious, right? And actually, I created a poll for you to do to see how many of us are in this. But for some strange reason, Zoom just eliminated all my entire polls. And let me try whether is it still there. Let me just do it one more time here. Boom. Nope. It is still missing. Dang. No problem. Let me just cut this off here. So anyway, let's use our chat box. Let's use our our comments in Facebook Live. And tell me, are you a jumper? Are you a stayer? Or are you a holder, right? So go ahead, just write it down, stay, jump, or hold, right? Very quickly, everybody. And by the way, this is, we're doing this for fun, right? We're not trying to stereotype anybody here, but it's really trying to understand, where are we at in this current season of time here. Very cool. So while we do it, I just want to post Julie's comments here. It's hard to work from home with 2 young kids. Yeah, I appreciate it. I don't have young kids, Julie, but I have 3 cats and 1 dog. That's really, really hard to work. They keep jumping on my table. So today they are all shut out. They are outside the room, all locked away, right? All right, cool. So I'm not seeing any messages here. So jump. Okay, a lot of jumpers, a lot of mix. Some stay. Mostly jump but can stay depending on the change and perceived magnitude of change. That's from Renata. Thank you very much. King Ming. Oh, hi King Ming. I know you. So you say stay. Wonderful. Chu Wan says that it's a mix. Yeah. So I think it's that's quite common, right? I think every one of us do have a mix of behaviors here, right? Yeah. And King Ming say hi back and hi back again to you. Oh gosh. How are you guys doing? If you guys are doing okay so far, can you just give me a thumbs up on Zoom here? And for Facebook people, go ahead and give me some thumbs up so I can know that we are actually doing okay. Thank you very much. Fantastic. Awesome. Very cool. So change is fundamental to everything that we are doing here. And one of the things I think we are here today is to really understand, how do I stay motivated? How do I keep track of my time, and how do I be effective in my time? How am I able to achieve both my work and personal goals, right? To be purpose-driven, to be sane, and to be working from home here. And I want to share with you a few ideas, some tips, some ideas, some personal experiences here. So the first one is really about this, right? It's about creating boundary and space here. And where there's boundary and where there's space, there is freedom. I know it's a little bit oxymoronic, right? How can there be boundary and yet there be freedom? Well, there is, and the whole idea here is this. It's about, in the office, for example, you and I do not have to worry so much about boundary and space, because when you get into the office, you have your table, you have your little cubicle, right? And that's your boundary and your private space here. Even if you are in a shared office, wherever you go to, people actually respect your space. They kind of give you that privacy and that space. But when it comes to our own homes, right, that is a little bit different. I mean, for those of you who have big houses, I think space and boundary may not be necessarily a challenge. Because you have your own rooms and all that. But for many of us who live in houses that are, that are not as big, we are literally tripping over one another in our homes, isn't it? And this is where I think the intentionality of creating boundary and space is critical to being purpose-driven, sane, and well, WFH. So for example, right, one of the things that you can do really is to, I think in Singapore, we have this term called chop lah, chop your table or chop your space, right? So I think that's what we do, right? I think it's always cool to go up to, your family members, like, hey, I need a dining table for the next 30, 45 minutes, right? Because I am talking with my clients here, or we're having a conference call, and being able to just joke that place, right? And family members by and large are very understanding. They'll say, yeah, we'll give you the space, we'll try to be quiet, or we try to tiptoe around you during that 30, 45 minutes, yeah? And when you have that privacy and that boundary, there's freedom. There's greater freedom in engaging in the conversation, there's greater focus, and because of that, it gives you greater motivation and that ability to achieve what you want to achieve, in the conversations or the work. So the first thing really is about creating the boundary and the space here. I mean, for example, I am Zooming and live streaming, from my own table in my room here. But I told my wife, anytime you need this, just let me know. I'll excuse myself and you can take over this table here to do that. So that's about creating boundary and space. Now, the second thing I would love to share with you, before I go on to that. So, as at this point in time, how many of you actually have already done that, right? Have you already started creating that boundary and space? If the answer is yes or no, go ahead, use your comments in your chat box and just populate that over there. All right, cool. Thank you. The second thing I want to share with you is about structures and routines here. Now, as human beings, it doesn't matter how flexible or adaptable you are, right? I think every one of us do desire a certain degree of predictability. So there are certain routines that you and I do when we were working from the office, right? We get up from our bed, we freshen up, and we take the car or the MRT or the public transport. We go to the office. That's a routine, right? Then for some of us, we go for breakfast and all that. So for me, that's my routine is this, right? I'll drop my wife off at work, and then I'll drive my car to Hong Lim Hawker Center. And that would be about 7 o'clock in the morning. That's my routine. And then I will almost always, not all the time, but I will almost always eat my favorite breakfast, and that is Teochew Mueh, right? Teochew porridge. I do that almost on a daily basis here. And by the time I'm done, it's probably about 7:30. And by the time I, get to the office, it'll be about 8 o'clock, right? And I'll spend some time just catching up on Google, catching up on Facebook, catching up on Instagram, on LinkedIn. And by the time I started getting into work, it's probably about 8:45 or 9 o'clock. That's my routine here. And when I first started working from home, all this routine got thrown out of the door. And to be honest, for a while, I was super confused. I didn't know what hit me. I didn't understand why did I feel so irritable. I didn't understand why I feel so uncomfortable, right? Then I realized, oh my gosh, my routine, my structures, that predictability is not there. And that predictability is very, very good for every one of us. Why? Because it assures us that certain things are still normal, right? It's not that everything is new and everything is changing. There's still some normality, there's still some normalcy in whatever we are doing here. So what I do nowadays is that I still wake up really early in the morning, like maybe 5:30 or 6 o'clock, and I would take my breakfast at about 7. I'll do my exercise at 7. I'll take my breakfast at about maybe 7:30, and eventually I get to work at about 8:45. I still, kind of laze around between 8 to 8:45 before I actually get into the swing of things here. So my encouragement to all of you out there, both in Zoom and in Facebook Live here, is to what do you call that? Is to recreate, right, that routines and structure. Use your creativity to do all that. I just saw Joyce on Facebook Live here, and she said, I live solo, so I'm blessed to have lots of space here. Lucky you, Joyce. Lucky you, right? Cool. So go ahead, if you have routine and structure in your life today working from home, I'm very curious to find out what are these routines that is unique to you, that's personal to you. So go ahead and again populate on your chat box or on your Facebook comments here, right? And I'll come back to it and take a look at it later. The third thing that I'd like to share with you, everybody, is to provide me times and me ways here. Work is work, guys. And the thing I'm going to tell you here is this. You may be working from home, but your home is not your full-time office, right? A home is a home. So do give yourself full permission to take some slack time off. I don't think your boss would mind. I don't think your boss would say, cut you. You're doing Instagramming for 30 minutes, in your home here. My gosh, this is horrible. I'm paying salary from you. No, I don't think that will happen. Chill. It is your home. Do take some time off for yourself. Read that book. Catch up on some Netflix in between, do some Instagram, because this is really good for your mental health. Yeah, it really motivates you, and then it really creates that sense of, I guess, comfort lah. But one way to prevent yourself from straying is not to just as and when do it, right? Maybe set in your phone or somewhere an alarm that says, every 45 minutes, get up and do something, fun, trivial, and something that you want to do, right? When you do that, you just take away from that mundane or from the solitude of working alone, working from home here. It's cool. Try that, right? So I'm really curious again on your chat here. What have you done in me time and me ways here, right? Let's see what else is there. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. Okay, cool. So I just saw Janice Lam saying, I exercise regularly, alternate cardio and stretching between days and in the morning before starting quack. I don't know what's quack, Kwek. Yeah. And Irene Ong says, I live alone, so don't have to chop space. Lucky you again, right? So all these guys are really, really fortunate people here. Very cool. Next one. Eat well and exercise well. Guys, working from home doesn't mean you become a hermit and you eat straws, right? No. I am so grateful for the way our government is managing this whole situation here. This is not a total lockdown. We still can walk to the hawker center. We still can take a train to the hawker center and buy something. Or better still, we can actually, have the delivery people, send the food to us. A lot of my favorite hawker guys are still open here, right? Kevin from Zion Hawker Center, who's my favorite Kway Teow Mi guy, he is open almost every day except for Saturday here. So eat well, guys. Eat well, but at the same time, exercise. Make sure that you put in your regular exercise. And if you have not exercised before COVID-19 days, this is a fantastic time here, because every time when you exercise, it really energizes you. It takes your mind off the stress. It refocuses you, and it allows you to reboot and restart all over again. This is fantastic, in staying well and staying sane here, right? So exercise well and eat well here. Oh, I love what Ashley Mark say. Oh, no, but I better not say. So I wish my boss is as understanding as you. No, Ashley, I'm going to shout out to you, right? I believe your boss is understanding. Just try it. He doesn't know it anyway. No, just kidding, right? All right, cool. The next one, right? Make a checklist. Now, of course, I think you've heard this before. Make a checklist, make a checklist, make a checklist. But this is a little bit different, right? This checklist, I'm going to ask you to make two kind of checklists. One checklist is a daily checklist, and the other one is a circuit breaker checklist. So a circuit breakers checklist means these are things I want to do by the time circuit breaker is over. A daily checklist these are the things that I'll do by the time the day is over. And in these two checklists, right, make sure you have no more than 3 items, right? No more than 3 items. If you have more than 3 items, you're going to be disappointed, because it's just going to be really, really tough for many of us to accomplish many things. But if you have 3 checklists, 3 items in your checklist, if you achieve one, you've done 30% of what you set out to do, right? But if you have 20 items in your list, if you do one, my gosh, your percentage of accomplishment is very, very low. So give yourself a break here, guys and gals. Make sure that your checklists are doable things. Put them down. And give your sense of accomplishment, the sense of achievement. And every time when you do that, our system, our body, our spirit, they just reboot itself. It just energizes itself, and you just want to be able to do more, and you look forward, to having a more fruitful day each day. By the way, one of the things I tell myself every day when I get up is, I always tell myself, today is going to be a better day than yesterday. Today is going to be a better day than yesterday. And I say, hey, today I'm going to do these 3 things here. I kind of plonk it down. It doesn't mean that I achieve all 3 things all the time, but it does mean that I do get to do most of the things that I put down, right? So can I encourage you, create simple checklists that you can do it, right? Let's see, I'm looking at the chats here right now. I'm Chuan on the Zoom chat, you say, I do brisk walking to lose weight here. Fantastic. And Chuan, can I give you one more piece of advice here? Don't just do brisk walking. Try to do some weightlifting here, right? I don't know, if you got no weights, try to lift a chair or something, right? Or do squats or whatever. It's really, really good, because when you build muscles, you burn calories here, right? Let's see. Stephen says, 2 to put Pomodoro technique to practice here. Now, this is a tomato timer. I heard something about this, but I'm not exactly sure what it is. Right? I'm going to check it out later on here. Very cool. All right. Now, the next thing here, so far, all good so far. If you're good, again, give me a wave or a thumbs up, everybody, so that I know that you guys are still with me. Fantastic. I see that. Excellent. Thank you so much, guys. All right. Like at this point in time, my calendar tells me, or rather my schedule tells me, do the poll. One more time, my poll is not present. I'm going to complain to Zoom. All right, next thing. I got 2 more items here, right? Next thing, try something new. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is an amazing period in time here. It's a time whereby, there's no other time such as this. Working from home, it's really unusual for many of us. And when you are there, even though you're working from home, you have work to do, you still do have some time of your own here. But there are also some of us that even though we're working from home, we may no longer have the jobs that we are used to. Some of us actually don't have our jobs, even though we are mandated to be working from home. And one of the things here I'm going to encourage you here is don't look at what you do not have, but look at what you have. You have time. You have your brain, you have your hands, you have your spirit, you have people around you, you have friends, you have technology. My suggestion here is to learn something new during this, working from home period, during this circuit breaker period here. Learn something new, learn something that you never knew you could do before, or try to do something new with some other people here, right? The reason for doing something new is really interesting. It's about really getting yourself to surprise yourself. That, my gosh, I didn't know I could do that. Now, that is great boost of energy, to everything that you're going through right now. So can I strongly encourage you, learn something new here. So I'm very curious right now, right? I'm sure a number of you already are doing something new, learning something new here. What is it that you have picked up as a result of this circuit breaker here? I'm going to share mine while you are sharing yours on the chat and on Facebook Live here, right? Now, one of the things I've learned tremendously is really to learn how to live stream here together with you here. I have never ever done this on a regular basis in the past, but ever since COVID-19 hits us, I think sometime in January, February, right? I begin to learn new skills about this whole idea of live streaming, online broadcasting and all that. There's so many things to learn, lighting, cameras, technology and all that. But I'll tell you one thing, everything that I started learning back then has become so useful to me right now. You never know this new thing, how useful is it going to be? You may say, oh my gosh, what's the use of doing, of learning how to cook? What's the use of learning how to draw? You never know, right? This is a great opportunity for you to try something new. And by the way, if you're looking for workshops or things to do, right, at Strength Asia, we are running a few workshops for the public and for individuals. Things like discovering your strength, things like finding your meaning and purpose in life, things like how do you have strength-based relationship with couples and married people, right? So if you're interested in all these subject topics, go to our website www.strengthasia.com. On our front homepage, we've listed all the events that are available over there, and if you're interested, sign up, and I would love to interact with you on that, right? Okay, and the last thing here is this, right? Show your care. Show that you care for other people. Now, I know some of us, we are struggling. Some of us are maybe stressed up, but it doesn't matter, right? Because at the end of the day, if you actually reach out and touch someone, if you actually show someone that you care and ask somebody, how can I help? Something interesting would happen to you. Our being, our persons, right, thrives very much of being of value to people here. So if you reach out and touch somebody, if you make a call to somebody, you text somebody and encourage somebody, right, and people say thank you, thanks for thinking about me, something positive happens to you, because you have just made yourself valuable. You have just made yourself useful to other people, and therein lies your purpose. Our purpose, ladies and gentlemen, is really to encourage one another through the work that we do. Our purpose really is to really bring life to people in our conversations, in our interactions, in our work. So can I suggest this thing here, right? Show care to people even while you're here. There's technology, there's phone calls, there's even slow mail, right? So go ahead, use all these things here. So cool. I think we are done for everything, and I'm going to just refresh what we have done so far, right? So these are some tips and ideas that you can do to stay purposeful, purpose-driven, sane, and well all the time here. So number one, show care, right? Number two, learn or try something new. Number three, create checklists, right? Daily as well as circuit breaker checklist. Number four, eat well and exercise well. Number five, make sure that you have me time and me ways here, right? And create or recreate, right, your own structures and routine to create that predictability in your life here. And last but not least, to have that boundary and that space here. Now, one of the things I believe with all my heart and spirit is that success is action. Success is not perfection. Now, go try something, right? And see if it works. If it doesn't work, modify it. I always believe that, we do a little, then a little more, and in due time, it's going to be overflowing here. So go ahead, everybody. I want you, if you can, if you like, use the chat box again and use the Facebook Live. And I want you to put one action. What's one action that you will undertake today after you leave this this Zoom call here, right? So I'm going to ask you, take 30 seconds or so, write down one action that you're going to take after today here, right? So while you do that, I am going to just share with what I'm reading here. I love what Mandy say. My oven has never worked so much in its life. True. My microwave, same thing. My microwave is working overtime here. Reshma says, hey, yoga. Very cool, Reshma. Yoga is something that I tell myself I can't do, but it might be something new that I might try to do. So watch out, right? Jennifer says that I've started to learn drums. Oh my gosh. I hope it's electronic drums with you on the earphones, right? I get to read more. Trevor Tan says I am taking Chinese lessons for Strengths Finder. Fantastic, Trevor. Good for you. Oh my gosh. Ivy Ong says my colleague said she cannot get enough baking powder. That's what I was told, man. Gosh, that is interesting. Elizabeth Lee says I'm closer to my parents now that I'm calling them more often. Way to go, Elizabeth. One of the things I did for my parents was I bought a cake. And then I gave them half of my cake here. I just sent it over to them. I bought half a cake and I sent it to my brothers over there, right? So these little things is really cool, guys. Do that, because it's not so much of what you do, but it's what you do that make them and that make them how they feel, right? Because these are going to be precious moments, after the COVID-19 days here. Let's see what else is there. Learning IT on how to Zoom, pick up exercises. Let's say. Create a routine and structure. Very cool. So these are the action, right? Create realistic checklists. Thank you very much, Felicia. Create a checklist. Yeah, make sure 3 items, Felicia. No more than 3 items here. Eat well and exercise. Way to go, Alec. I believe you're from Hong Kong, Alec. So yeah, Hong Kong got a lot of great food. Eat really, really well. All the dim sums and all the char siu bao, right? Let's see. Pick up the guitar again. Yeah, Shin, do that. Try out more recipes. Finish the book. And the book is called 4 Agreements, right? For those that are interested, you got a new book right now, 4 Agreements. And I love what Julie says, right? Block out me time. Yeah, do that, please. Fantastic. I think that's about it, right? So everybody, it's 3:38 right now. Thank you for staying a little bit over than the prescribed time here. I'm going to stay online here for those that wants to interact with me and ask questions, right? But for those of you that that has been find this beneficial here, I want to thank you, and I'm going to ask you come back again for our next session. I think it's on the now I cannot remember the date. I think it's next Friday. Anyway, the slide will come out later on. You'll know which date that is, right? So I would love to see you again in our next session here. Thank you for coming, everybody. I'm going to play the closing slide. And then a couple minutes later, I'll come back again online for those that wants to interact and chat and ask a bit more questions here, right? So with that, thank you very much. Be safe, be happy, be purposeful, be driven, be sane, and be well. Take care. Adios, everybody. Bye-bye.
Think I'll try this a new way. I'm gonna show you the tricks that I know. I'm getting tired of talking, and I need more of a show right now. It's time that you made your mind up.